gonna play a video game on that computer over there, and I had the router and the Ethernet cable in the other room, and I had the cable through a hole in the bottom of the wall where it would come through, and I would have it connected to the computer. That way, if I go online and play Steam, I can play. I don't think I can play Wi-Fi. Could I? Would it be too? Well, matter of fact, I wonder. Yeah, I probably could. I probably could. But for gaming, I think it's best to be connected. Connected to the Ethernet cable. I guess I'm gonna have to get a longer Ethernet cable and stretch it. Or that, or take the. Because I took the cable and the router over there, and the reason I did that was because I will go live and I will film. I would film when I go live and do these videos on painting, and it was slowing up. So I bought the router and the Ethernet, the modem, everything over here. That way I can just connect the router straight to the computer, and it wouldn't slow down. So now me doing that, how would I get? Well, I will have to bring the gaming system over here and play over here. If I want to play, will probably be better over here, being that this television is better for gaming, and do it that way. I could do that, but I really don't want to have too much of stuff going on in this room. Got such a mess already in this damn room. Such a fucking mess. And to continue to make more of a mess by bringing more shit. I don't want to live in one room in this house. But anyway, let me throw some shit out. That's such a fucking mess, man. It's like, man, this fucking corona shit has fucked up everything for us, huh? Has this corona done a number on all of us? And you know what's the funny thing? It's like, let's just get back to normal. It's like, why can't people just get back to fucking being normal again? Are we gonna live like this for the rest of our lives? I mean, like, imagine if you're fucking old and you have, like, imagine if you're, like, in your 70s, like, you maybe have a year left, 2 years left. Who the fuck wants to live, like, fucking locked up in their fucking house? I mean, who wants to do that? Even though when you get older, you really go nowhere. So, but, shit, man. Everything is so fucked up now. Everything is so fucked up. Then I was watching this fucking thing the other day, on the internet. It was this program by NVIDIA that anything you draw, it makes it into a beautiful painting. Basically, you don't need to know how to draw. You don't need to know how to do shit. You can just produce a painting out. I was like, oh, fucking great. 40 years of me fucking busting my ass to create a fucking great painting. Now it's like, oh man. I mean, that was fucking depressing. I don't know, guys. I painted this pan the other day. I didn't want it to rust on me. It was getting, like, the paint was chipping up. Because these things are usually done in enamel. But this is not enamel. I just did a spray. And cleaned it, sanded, and then give it a spray. And if I could, at least, it can stand up for a while until I get it enameled, if I ever do. Or if anyone gets this after I'm gone. Which, I don't know, they probably wouldn't do it because they'll probably get this and they'll say, oh, this is probably how it came. They wouldn't know that I painted this. But the back, I think you can still see the scratches. But yeah, you see it was like that in a lot of places. This is watercolor. So, so I hope you guys are okay. I'm doing fine. Man, I wanted to play that game, but I think, let me see, do I have, oh, I have to have it uploaded. Oh, yeah, I could do it that way. Yeah, I could still play, because I don't have to go online. I can just, because online is like if you want to play online, but I'm not trying to play online. I'm playing against the computer. Maybe I could still play. Yeah. And yeah. So this thing here, I had all this dry up paint when I purchased this thing. That was on it, you know, because it comes like this. Let me show you how cool this is. I saw this box on eBay, right? It comes like this metal container, and it's cool because I've never seen anything like this. And I've seen mostly everything there is, and watercolor, all pans. I've seen all the pans that are out there in watercolor, but I've never seen one like this. Then you click it, and it opens, and it has an area to put your paints, right? Then it has the area for your brushes, right? Then it has this pan that goes like this. You see? And then you close it. You close it. And you can go where you need to go with it. So if this was custom, or it came like that, or it's made that way, or if it was something else and then they turned it into that. I really don't know what's the story with this. But it is cool that you can open this, and then it has these little things, these tabs in the side. So you're able to lift it out. Put your paints down there that way. You have paints, and then these paints, when I bought this box, came used, and it came with a whole bunch of paint. Person that owned it. A lot of these paints were dried up. Some of them were still soft. Like this one is still soft. And some of them are still dry. You see this one is soft. So when I saw it, I thought it was cool because I had this one, which this is the cheaper one. And it's like a metal thing, and you put your paint. Then when I saw this one, I thought that it was good, but it was a little flimsy. Then after some careful research, I found out that it's not the original. So then I went and got the Holbein, bought the original one, which is this one. It's the same one, but it's a Holbein. You see? You see the way it says Holbein. So I bought these things, right? Then this is another box I bought. These boxes are like from the early 19th century. This one here, it's almost the same thing like the other one. You put the paints underneath like that. And then it has this palette that you open it, and you hold it, and you mix. This stuff is made like very old. This might even be from the 18th century, late 18th century. But when I bought this set, I've never seen a set like this. That's why I think I paid $100. It came from Europe. I think it was like $30 just for shipping. Like that other one up here. The wooden one. This is another set. Let me show you guys this other watercolor set. And what I like about these sets is that you know, if you notice the way they used to make stuff back in the days was much better compared to now. So when I saw this, I was like, I got what the attraction was these little glass things here. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, that is so cool. And then the little corners, the wood thing. Then it's got the watercolor here. It's got the pans. And then there was some color tubes here with the metal tops. And then each and every one of these things here are made out of porcelain, where the watercolor goes. So I think I paid for this like $100. And you know, when you get into art, you know, go through that process of buying shit. And and you will buy different pans, because I got caught up. Like, the reason I got into watercolor was I wanted to loosen up on my stroke. I found my mark too intense, too stiff, and something was missing. And I started I was studying Sargent for a long time at that time, and I saw that Sargent did watercolor. So I thought to myself, well, Sargent did watercolor, well, maybe I should do the same thing, get into watercolor. And then I would talk to people at the art student meeting. They were like, no, it's a hard medium. Everyone I would talk to, they were like, no. I was like, fuck this, So I got into it. And it was hard. It was hard. And it's still hard. And I think I've been at it for like 10 years, 15 years. And they've gotten better. And they've gotten better. The thing about watercolor, it's a medium that everything you do has to be thought out. Everything, like if you want to use less water, well, then you have to use a smaller brush, and you got to be careful if you want, everything has to be thought out, prepared, and you're going to get some parts of the painting that's going to do some things that you're not prepared for, that water's going to run here, but you want it to go there, and it's that type of medium compared to oil painting, that it's so controllable that you can control where you make your marks and how you develop a painting. Watercolor for me, it's been a challenge. And what made it more easier was looking at Charlie Reed, looking at his work. And I saw that this is an artist that is very well known, very popular, written a lot of books, making a lot of money. But his fucking work looks so easy. So I was looking at this guy's work and said, maybe I'm trying too hard. Maybe I should just let the medium do what it wants to do and just sit for the ride, enjoy the ride. and have control that to the point where, okay, I want this color, I want this, I want these shapes, I want that, I want to, like that. But you have to let some things go with watercolor. And because if you look at Charlie Reed's work, I have a book here. If you look at his work, you can see, it's like shit. If, like, this is a watercolor. If you try to paint really exact with watercolor, this is a watercolor study right there. You basically, but where's this book at? Oh, here it goes. Now, if you look at Charlie Reed's work, it's like, shit, this is so fucking easy. Why the fuck can I not do that? How, look at that. So when I started looking at that, I said, that's easy. Only thing that stood out here is where the cool colors need to be, where the warm colors need to be. Some areas have to be soft, some areas have to be hard. The drawing, the proportions, everything else, it's the painting itself. You see? So after I started seeing Charlie Reed, and I started, then I started doing this. I could loosen up and not pay too much attention to kind of be too precise, because the thing is, when you do oil painting, you come in from doing oil painting and you start painting in watercolor, you try to paint the way you used to paint when you were painting in oils, and it's not, you can't do that. You see, that medium is completely different, and you cannot think you're going to be as precise as you were in oils. Now, don't get me wrong, you could be precise in watercolor and paint very fine detail and get everything, but with small brushes, everything has to be time consuming, and I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I am not going to do that. This is not oil paintings. This is a painting by Louis Roy in oil. And this is another one that I've done, and it's more controllable. But let me get my glasses. But you can't do that with color. You have to get on. You see, this is another painting right there. I haven't finished. I'm working on. But watercolor's a whole different ball game. Whole different ball game. Then the thing about watercolor, there's things that you have to kind of say to yourself, wait a minute, because how you want to be in watercolor. You cannot be at the same level that you are in oil and then be the same way in watercolor. There's one of those mediums have to shine. You're going to perform better in one of them. I was trying to perform just as good as I performed in oil painting. I wanted to perform in watercolor. Now that led me to put oil painting to the side, which I did, but instead of every day, it was maybe 2 days a week. And then the rest was on watercolor, because I really had to get this shit down, And you can't do that. You can't do that. And so this is a copy of a painting I copied. But, and you study these people because you want to study them and learn their tricks and their thought process on how they went about developing the painting. So that's the reason why we go there and we study these painters like Rembrandt, Rubens, Velasquez, Zorn, and we study them and we break them down. We read their letters, we read their journals, and there was only one painter who was not like him. Sargent, Da Vinci, Rubens, Velasquez, to get away from me. But for some reason I cannot paint like this man. And I would try to study him because that's how we learn. We learn because we copy artists, and that's how they did it back then. And we copy them, and some people might not like that, but that's how artists from the past used to learn, you know. And there's no better way than learning, than copying the past and really breaking things down. It's like you're back engineering them. And the artist that I'm talking about, it was Van Gogh. And I would try to paint like this guy, but I could never paint like him. And his marks were too... And then you think that, being that his paintings they look so simple. Sunflowers, I mean, who the hell can paint sunflowers? But when you try to do his portraits and you try to paint the way he painted, because there is some type of control in his work and his brush marks and how he does things. But it's done in layers, and like there's a process on everything, from the paint itself, on how you want the paint to be when you start using the paint, how long you would like it to sit on the palette before you start using it, that it's still not dry, so dry that when you pick it up on the brush, there's not going to be no interruptions in the brush mark. It's still going to go smooth, but it's still stiff enough that it's going to give you some body. You see what I mean? And this is how Van Gogh was so... He was very thought out when he worked. He was... This is a painting I did, an arrangement of sunflowers. This is my arrangement, but in his style. And sometimes to study a person, like for me to really get Van Gogh, I had to study Gauguin. When I studied Gauguin, only then I was able to paint. Excuse me, like Van Gogh. But, look at this mess. If I tell you where this mirror came from, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. If you look at Francis Bacon's studio, he has a mirror like this. But it's not the one. But I bought it because of it looked like the mirror that came from Francis Bacon's studio. But this mirror came from the house in Long Island that guy killed his whole family. The Emily Horror House. This mirror came from the house. And I have it. It came from that fucking house. It has in back of it the address. I think the bank got the house and they got the property and has the address in chalk. And And I put it there because my easel was here, and I wanted to have a mirror behind me so I can look behind me. And let me shut this thing off. This painting. See, this painting, what I need to do now is skimming. Skimming is when you come at a painting and you start skimming the top layers. Yeah, you have to be very careful when you do this type of painting. But I'm going to have to skim some of the top layers. I don't know if it's ready yet, but I'll come with something hard. And then I'll come. Oh, this is a watercolor I did. You see the way I cover the hand on painting? And the thing in the back where you keep the china. Yeah, but the thing about water, I mean painting, it takes a lot of years to master. It takes Google years. It takes a lot of years. And there's no guarantee that you'll be remembered. There's a lot of things you have to do to prepare for it that I keep saying that other painters from the past done, like their journals and have a certain amount of paintings that you want to have before you're long gone, and have a certain amount of drawings, because you have to be a realist. You know, majority of these paintings, some of them will end up in a landfill. And there'll be someone that'll come and paint over a couple of your paintings. But your work has to be archival, and it has to be good enough that people are not going to want to paint over them. And that's it. That's what this ride's been all about. And that's it. Just trying to learn how to pay. Stupid in a way, but so enjoyable. It's fun. I mean, it was a lot of fun when you know, for me. But when you get to a point when other shit is coming at you, it's hard to stay above it. You make things happen on your own. It's really hard to do that. When everything around you is clawing, at you. Everybody's runs on something. Everybody runs on something. What the hell is this? Hey, PJ. How are you? Like I said, when it comes to art, you gotta have something that you love and like, because it's what makes life interesting, I guess. I mean, yeah, you can go watch a movie and all that, but there's more to life than just movies and people and assholes that you have to figure out. And everybody's about fucking everybody, right? It's a fucked up way to live these days, but it was so much simpler growing up. I mean, it was so much fun. I think the best time in our life is when we're kids. And so you don't have no care in the world. Get on your bicycle, your big wheel, and ride. Everything really doesn't matter. Everything later gets complicated when you start living like grown-ups. The grown-ups, sometimes I wonder, maybe I look at retarded people and say maybe they're the normal ones and we're the retards. Because if you think about it, retarded people are not as faithful and don't go killing people. Yeah, we get killings by people that have mental issues, but not seriously. People that are retarded. Very easygoing people. Everything has become a big game. Who has more, who has less. And it's good to play. It's good. It's okay to be part of that game. And if you're young, I suggest that you learn to play that game well. Because the times when I was growing up, okay, painters, it was okay, but the times we're living now, people look too fast. And if there's nothing on the canvas that's not shocking them, it's not good enough. Poetry and romance went out the window. Is it sad? No, it's not sad. We just have to learn how to adjust. And we'll be stronger for it in the future. We'll be stronger people for it. Who knows? He'll do something that we'll go through some shit, but we'll be stronger people for it. Yeah. I still have a zip here. For me, that have seen how it was before and how it is now is fucked up. But for someone that's born in these times that only knows this, doesn't know anything else, would not know that there's something wrong. You see what I'm saying? That's why they don't understand. That's why they continue to vote the way they vote. Because think about it, why would you continue to vote for someone that's fucking up your city? Why? Why would you allow syringes and people sleeping in the streets? I mean, making it undecent for kids that are trying to get to school, that they have to swim through needles and dolphins and drug addicts, which, don't get me wrong, I've been all those things. But do you want that for your kids? Do you honestly want that for your kids? And if you say yes, well then, I don't know. You have a serious problem. You have a serious problem. I think you need to check yourself, because you always want to make your kids a little better off than how you was brought up, and so they can have a better chance succeeding and not allowing these people to fuck him. the way you've been fucked. And it's funny how these fucking politicians continue to fuck us and fuck us and fuck us and steal money. And 4 years we went through that Russia. We just got that Duran report about Hillary Clinton that this bitch was really spying on fucking Trump. The guy was fucking right. Not only in his house, but in the fucking White House. Fucking attorney was just, for Hillary, just fucking gave everything up. He said, listen, this is what's been going on. This is everything. Some head of the FBI. Then you ask, why the fuck CNN is not talking about this? Why? I thought they were news. I thought they report news. Why the hell are these people not talking about it? It kind of makes you suspicious, right? I don't really care for CNN, Fox. I don't care for any of these motherfuckers. But I tell you one thing, Fox is, at least they're fucking talking about it. Yeah. I mean, I would respect if CNN will come out and say, listen, you know what, we fucked up, man. You were wrong about this and that. You think they would do that? No, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. It's just fucked up. But you know what? All these problems really don't matter because they seem like they're important now, but they're not. We make them important, but they're really not important. So what is important? What's important? The 80 years that I have left in my life, what am I supposed to make important? What's the only thing that I can leave that can go on? Because there has to be something about life, right? Like, what is it all about, man? Like, because as soon as we die, there's like no remembering Hillary or Trump or elections or it's over. Everything you've worked for is will belong to someone else. But if we're here, there has to be a reason. I mean, if we're here, there has to be a reason. Like sometimes I think even the dinosaurs had a reason, even if it was for them to come and fucking shit all over the fucking planet and fertilize the ground. They had a purpose. And that was their purpose. Sometimes I think the dinosaurs, the only purpose was for them to come and shit and move and turn the soil, and they were in a sense like a farmers or some type of, what the fuck is it all about, man? Those deep questions, right? What the hell is it all about? What the hell is it all about? Money? Yeah, money's good because money can make things a lot better, right? Money does make things a lot easier, a lot better, and but a person like me that's never had it, I think the most I've ever had is like maybe $3,000 in my life. I've never had much money. I've never had money. I've always been pretty content. Doesn't mean I haven't had good things. old. I mean, it's used, but, you know, it's like, oh, this car came out. Well, I'll get it maybe when it's 20 years old, or 10 years old, when it's full of mileage, and I'll buy a crash one and fix it myself. I don't know. It's just always a way of getting things you want. You know. But, I don't know, man. I really have lost all meaning of life when I have lost all meaning of life, and when I try to do for the first time in my life everything so perfect, and if in my mind it was perfect. In my mind I did everything perfect, that there was no reason for anything to go wrong. But some way it went wrong. I don't know how, but it still went wrong. You say to yourself, well, wait a minute, but God, hey, didn't I do everything right? Didn't I always put him before me? Didn't I spend all my money on him? Didn't I spend time and spoke to him about this and spoke to him about that? Prepared him for this. And things still find a way to fuck up, man. So it's crazy, man. What the fuck is going on here? But, what do you do, huh? Oh shit, like what the hell's going on with this thing? Maybe this way? Yeah, let's try to do that better. All I say, if you're young, I suggest you guys get a lot of money and don't trust no one. The people that you trust, be loyal to them. Don't burn bridges. Be loyal. That's important. That is so fucking important to be. Loyalty is very important. Some people don't know how to be loyal. Be loyal, and there'll still be people that'll fuck you, but you don't change for no one. Continue to be who you are. And try to do everything you can to get money and make a lot of it and enjoy yourselves. And that's it. And always keep a balance. Don't do more wrong than bad. Just in case. Cover all your bases. Like, some say there's no God, some say there is a God. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll play safe. You understand? Don't be too much on one side. Where there ain't no God. And then it turns out you find yourself in hell, and you're like, holy shit, now what? Like, what do you do now? You're fucking dead. And I said, well, okay, I'll say my prayer every night, and I'll Father and pray for those, and that's it. Right? And that's all you could do. And try your best, right? Get a girl, be careful with them girls, boy. Those girls are worse than men these days. Yeah. Don't ever be weak to a woman. As soon as you start being weak, they'll smell it. And they'll let you go. Because in a woman's nature, they want a strong man. They want an alpha male. It's in their nature. They want a man that's a protector, a man that goes out and gets the food. Even though we're not living in those times. And they're very And you got women's rights and all this bullshit. But women's like a strong man. As soon as you start being fucking weak, and be like, honey, I want to go out. And I say, listen, bitch, you've been out every fucking day this week. The fuck, man? Listen, I don't mind, 3 days a week, 2 days a week, but you're making a habit of this. You gotta be a little strong. You can't be all that fucking pussy. Because they'll smell it and they'll get an alpha male and they'll leave you and get another man. Yep, they will. And you won't fucking see it coming. Be like, oh shit, what the fuck happened? What happened? You got weak. You got fucking weak. But once you got that girl, once you got that girl, love her, respect her, honor her, treasure her, be firm, but, be loyal, be honest, and you'll be okay. Be a man. Just be a fucking man. If you got other tendencies, well, go through those motions and work them out. Find out, is it this, is it that? Because you got a lot of guys that they feel a certain way and they think right away, oh, maybe I'm gay. Maybe we're just going through some motions. I mean, we all go through that as kids. And we go through this sexual thing that we don't know where fucking coming or going. That's the worst time to make any choices. That you're gonna cut your dick off. You see what I mean? Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It is so crazy. New York is crazy. I don't know what's gonna happen with New York. It's like so funny. I went to Manhattan the other day. It was like everywhere you went, you see moving trucks. Like, the trucks, like people like packing their shit up and leaving. And I don't know where they're going, but it's crazy. And then I think now they're starting to lock up all those truckers up there in Canada. But you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that whole Canada stuff, the government is not going to say, okay, we agree to your terms. We're going to stop all the mandates and all this. They're not going to do that. They're not going to make those type of deals. But I promise you, as soon as they lock everybody up and get rid of everything, what the truckers want, they're going to end up doing. Because then they don't want this to happen again. They're, oh, we got to do something. I mean, we can't have this happen again. All right, let's just let things get back to normal. I'm thinking that's how it's going to happen. Because this guy from Canada he's fucking, I don't know, there's something wrong with that dude. He's putting everybody in the same, like, oh, I'm not going to take orders from people that, a bunch of Nazis. Like, come on, you can't say just because a couple of, like, if you see a demonstration, everybody's fucking welcome to fucking come in. Most definitely, you're going to have fucking all types of people show up. You're going to have 5%ers, Muslims, Catholics. Every fucking body and their mother's going to show up. So you're going to say, okay, a couple of Nazis came. They're all fucking Nazis. You can't have that. You can't. It's stupid. It's stupid. But this is how this guy's thinking. He's like, oh, well, they're all fucking Nazis. Okay. Neo-Nazis, alright. Should have painted that, I didn't do anything much. But stood in bed and watch fucking YouTube all day and watch videos and can't watch reruns because I used to enjoy watching westerns and stuff like that. It would be good to go back to those days. Just somebody pisses you off, just listen, man, let's fucking shoot it out, motherfucker. You know, you kill me, I kill you, whatever. That's it. That's crazy, man. It's fucking crazy world, really. But like I said once in a video, it's hard for me to complain about my issues, and so many people are going through so much other shit. I find myself at 53 going through these issues alone. How about the person that's 70, 80 alone? How about that person? There's got to be a lot of them that they're in their 80s right now alone, watching television like, what the hell's going on? Afraid to death, scared. It's hard to complain about anything when you see that there's got to be someone out there in a worse situation. So that's why I stopped complaining about anything. I stopped complaining. Somebody, this page, this one of your subscribers, I hate this fucking apartment, I hate this building, but a person wrote in the comment section, it's good to have a place to paint. To have a studio, have a place where you can paint. And it kind of made me reevaluate things different. Say, maybe I hate this place, but I should be happy that I have a place. You start getting things right as you get older. That wisdom would always outshine any 8 years of college. Especially if you're someone like me. My brain still works even with so many brain cells that I fucking burnt out. And that slightly partial stroke. My IQ is still very high. Very high. Why am I fooling myself? Have a cigarette. What else is there? Something is gonna kill you. Do you really want to live forever? I guess you enjoy coming in, listening to my squabbles. Either you come here because I make you feel better about yourself, that your life is not as fucked up as you thought it was, or you're fucking in love with me, or you just must be fucking Looney Tune. I don't know. What's your complaint? What's your complaint? Everyone has one, right? Oh, you like my art. That's good. I'm glad someone does. I'm glad that someone likes my art. You're probably the only person that does. That likes my art. Only one that likes my art. What does a real person tell a person that tells the realist, I like your art? And what does the artist respond? If you like it that much, why don't you buy it? How much do you like my art? There's no winning with me. But I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean. And you don't have to buy it. I probably would have not purchased, if I would have been living in the times of Van Gogh. How many could have had a chance to buy his art for a fucking bottle of whiskey or just for very little money and didn't buy his work? Couldn't even give it away. The salon would reject his work. And, he could not even sell it. I think he sold one painting, one, while he was alive. One painting. How many did I sold? I think I sold maybe a few. A few, but what the hell did I have to go through to sell them? Well, those years passed by, and some of those paintings are worth $140 million. $140 million. Are you buying a painting or are you buying a person? Every mark on that canvas of that man is... some people don't get it, man. Some people do not fucking get it. They just don't get it, man. They don't understand what art is, man. When they buy art, they're buying, like, the amount of time that it took that man to get from point A to point Z. How much time did it take that artist to get from here to there? How many bad drawings? How many bad paintings? How many? Then you get this painting that's done in a day or 2 days or maybe a week, depending what type of painting it is. It's just, you're buying so much more. That's why art is so, that's why I'm so glad at least we've been able to get that right. That art is the most expensive thing in the world. It's worth more than diamonds, it's worth more than jewelry, gold, anything. And it is. Because you read about Van Gogh. You know a lot about Van Gogh. Now imagine owning that work. Now, all my life I've studied this man. Now imagine if I was to own a Van Gogh. To have read so much about him. But you have not only seen my work, you have heard my voice. You have heard my emotions. You have seeing how I felt at times, and how much more my work is worth to someone that knows the man. How does a person hang up a painting like that knows the man and knows a little bit, has a little perspective about the artist? That's deep. It's like that drawing that was made to me by James. I knew the man. I knew the man. It was a bullshit drawing, but I knew the man. I knew what he went through, who he was, I knew some things about him, so the drawing became a little more. A lot of people will buy a Van Gogh and put it in their safety, a box, or they'll put the thing in the safe. They won't even hang it. It's a way of an investment for them. A lot of times it's Chinese, and they'll buy a Van Gogh. I don't know. I think a work of art, a man of a caliber of Van Gogh, I wouldn't trust no man with his work that can just freaking take it and burn it, and just to burn it or destroy it, because this man is such a high caliber to me. I mean, such a high caliber that I don't know, man. I just can't. I don't think his work belongs to not one single person. It belongs to the world. His paintings belong to the world. He lost his mind, he lost his life, this man slowly lost everything. And if there was internet, you probably would have seen it, been there. There's a lot of great painters, a lot of great painters, a lot of great painters out there. But some of them are very hollow, very hollow. Very hollow. I think a painting becomes so much more interesting when you get to know the person. It just gains something more. It has you have something extra. You have, oh man. And then to buy it just as an investment, but not to enjoy it it's like, it's horrible. You know, it's horrible to buy a Van Gogh and not to look at it, not to enjoy it. I remember when they stole the Mona Lisa from the Louvre, and the person that stole it, they wrote that it was in the person's house, and he had it hanging in his closet for, I think, a few years. It stood in a closet for years. No one looked at it. Well, I like to think that the guy every now and then came and moved the clothes to the side and just enjoyed looking at it. I mean, to steal the Mona Lisa, my God. Could I see myself ever doing something like that? Could I ever see myself stealing a painting like that? I don't think so, because it doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to me. But when I went to the Metropolitan and I got to see Van Gogh's work, and I just came so close to it. Like, I was like, My head was here, and the picture was right there, and I stood there, and there were people here. And I stood right there staring at it. And I studied it and looked at it for a long time. I looked at it. And as I looked at it, I can see through my peripheral people going and coming. But I still stood there. Like trying to upload and download every part of that painting. Every crack, every subtle shade, every... And I looked at them, all of them. And I just feeling so depressed. Because I can't paint like him. I can't paint like him. But now I could. But now they'll say that I'm trying to be him. I'm trying to copy him. But painting like Van Gogh is not a way of painting. It's where you're at. It's where you're at, man. It's a level that you go that it takes years to get you there, but when you get there, your work, your brush marks, everything about your work. I tell you, man. It resembles a little bit of something deep, something, but still it won't be the same. Could never be a Van Gogh, but you'll be at a level where that if I was to meet the man, he would say, this man is at my level. Just something, huh? I tell you, man, it's something else, but I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know the hell so much drawing and painting. What the hell does it mean? I don't know. Wasted so many years of my life. Just for what? Oh, be quiet. Leave me alone. Why are you bothering me? This damn thing. Oh, the security guard. The security guard came up to me and told me, sir, are you okay? I said, no, why you ask? Sir, you've been staring at that painting for close to 45 minutes by now. So no, I admire this painter. I admire Van Gogh. He said, don't you, he said, oh, I understand, because I'm a painter myself. I said, so then you should be lucky to have a job that you sit here all day, stand here all day, looking at these great paintings. He said, yeah, they're very beautiful paintings. And I told him that every time I left this place, I felt depressed. He said, you shouldn't feel that way, because I'm here every day, and I don't paint like them, but I still paint, and you gotta be alright with that. He was okay with painting how he painted. Him excelling, for him to excel, to be able to express himself like Van Gogh. He was okay with that. It didn't matter how he painted. For me, it was the press. I mean, to go to the Metropolitan, it's like, I mean, if you're an artist, a lot of artists go to the Metropolitan to study these paintings. And some of them just do it because they're there with their girlfriend looking at these paintings. But some go there to study these paintings and these paintings from the past. And look at these paintings close. And I don't know how they leave when they leave. I don't know how they feel when they leave, because I've never had conversations with other artists on how they feel. But for me, going to the Metropolitan, every time I left depressed. And I had to get home to work out the issues that I was having. Why was I not able to paint like these painters? And in your mind, you think about how could these painters have painted so good? And you try to understand it. You say, well, the Renaissance, these guys in the Renaissance, they painted so great, my God. Then I said, well, in the Renaissance, everywhere you went in Rome, they had statues all over. Everywhere you went, there were statues. Everything was made out of stone. Seeing a statue of a goddess, it was like seeing a street lamp where I come from in New York. And if anyone was to tell me how to paint a street lamp, I wouldn't need to look at one to know how to paint it. And it was no different for these people that lived in those times. Them drawing the human body was easy for them. It's what they looked at every day. And then you gotta also consider the fact that the lighting was different. And then you have all these artists today that would write books. No, the lighting has to be this, has to be a certain percentage of cool and a certain percentage of warm. Has to be a white light, and you cannot, they go through books on how to adjust your lighting in your studio, how to even put certain colors on your walls. But none of this was done in the Renaissance. And they still created these great works of art, And they had less light. They saw value much different compared to how we see value today with these bright lights. Maybe we need to train ourselves to see in candlelight and train ourselves to see things different. Maybe there's a different way of doing things. And you think about these things as an artist, because you're looking for that reason on how to become a better painter. You're trying to figure it out. You're buying books. You're trying to figure out what is it exactly that you're doing wrong. That why your work does not compare to these great painters. You see? So that's how it is. But I'm here. Look at this guy here, shaving. This is a picture from what was. Okay. But yeah, a lot of things have changed since then. And look at these. Look at those hairdos. Why is this not showing up? Oh man, I hate when it does that. My son gave me this tablet. That's the last thing he gave me. So, oh please stop. Though I wanted to, let me see something. You know what I think sometimes? Look at this little girl. Sometimes, oh come on, why did you do this? Let me grab it this way. Maybe if I grab it this way. Oh Lord, Jesus, why have you forsaken me? Why have you forsaken me, Lord? Haven't I? Where's the pencil? Oh, it's supposed to go this way, right? Yeah. I want to come a little bit. Let me bring this a little bit over here. Come over here. Oh, let me put this over here. Let me get this water out of there. There you go. Sometimes those pencils, those dollar, those dollar mechanical pencils, they're not too bad. They're not too bad. Keep the pencil moving. Just search. Just search. It's slipping from my knees, the pad. It's got these little nose. Then this goes a bit higher. Oh, I gotta get up early tomorrow and see. Last night I had such a weird dream. Sometimes these dreams that we have, like, sometimes don't know if they're dreams, stuff that my head is making up, or places that I have been, people that I have met. I don't know. They're too real that if you was not to wake me up, I can live in one of those dreams. And I would never know that I was dreaming. Those dreams are so weird, man. What's it all about? Just keep moving. Let's just try to keep moving because I don't want to stay too much. If I stay too much in one place, then I'm gonna. it's like the reason we draw every day is to train those neurons in your brain to fire off. You make a certain part of your brain that becomes good at rendering things and seeing and putting it down because you do it so much, and you start developing even blisters in certain areas where you hold your brushes. And, you see that? It's like you become different. You really do. That's why I say to myself sometimes, I wonder if it's a stroke. It's a stroke that I had, or is it I've been doing this too much? Maybe when we do something that you use a different way of expressing yourself, the skills of language go out the window. Maybe we die too early before the real changes happen. There's not enough time to have some like microevolution. But things do happen. I think things do happen. You do see it, you do feel it. Things do happen. But so that's why you do these sketches and you want to continue to do them. To tell your brain, hey, this is what I do, I'm an artist. Oh, come on, cable. I'm an artist, this is what I do. Don't take yourself serious also. Don't take yourself too serious. If it doesn't go quite the way you want it to go, you just do it again. It's like a painting, a drawing, or it's a set of corrections. That's all it is. It's just you're correcting as you go along. You're correcting as you go along. You try again. Like sometimes I do these type of practice. I do this, figure eight, and then I'll do this, and I'll do this, and I'll go up, and I go down. I'm training my brain. I have to use my brain in a certain area where I'm not using it, because when I do these type of motions, there's like a where you stop. It's like it's not smooth. It's like you have to really make an effort to do it. And you don't want that. You don't want to have to make an effort to do things when you draw. You want it to be fluent, that it comes out. You understand? Like, something fluent that you do, and that's what you have to practice and practice and practice. And And it becomes easier and easier. Drawing is easy. Drawing has become very easy for me. It's become easy. You know what I noticed what has become hard for me is what to paint and what to draw. That's what really comes down to as you get better in your work. I think I was thinking of the other day, I was thinking, say, maybe I'm gonna go to Manhattan and I won't charge people to do portraits. And I'll give them a free painting. I can't afford models, but I need to paint, I need to sketch, I need to see the human form. And I was thinking, well, maybe I can do this a couple of times a month and stand in front of the Metropolitan and do some studies that way. But in the summertime, I will head out there and do my chocolate drawings and make money. And but what I do is very, you're wrong. Hey, hi, God. It's a way of going out there and spending time with yourself, and you meet people. Because when I go out there, I have met people that have taken my name, and I have done a commission, one or two, and you meet people. Artists always, people that know artists tend to. We have an understanding with each other that is like no other. It's like a community of people that we know. It's weird, but it's like a different breed of people. It's so weird, but it's a different breed of people. When I used to go to Sylvia's, that art bar in Manhattan, in Soho, everybody went there. Andy Warhol, everybody went there. And the greatest artists used to go there. I never ran into them, but ran into Andy somewhere else. But I heard Pollock used to go there. As a matter of fact, I heard that's where the whiskey palette, was a rumor that's where the whiskey palette was developed. This was a guy that used to go there with a makeup container, and he used to put paint in it, and then he would go to the bar and he would order a whiskey, and he would do paintings. I don't know if it was there or, but I heard this somewhere. But yeah, man, New York is great for art, but art in New York has really, I don't know, it's not the way it used to be. Artists today, when you go to Greenwich Village, or you see people dressing like artists, pretending to be artists, but not artists. You have young kids that will paint their pans full of paint and hang out all day with their pans painted, trying to sell themselves as being an artist, but not an artist. They do it because it's a style. It's they think it's cool or something. I don't know. But me, you will never see me with my pants painted that way. You will never catch me that way. But I do get like that in my studio, but I tell you, man, painting has. We haven't had a great painter in a long time. They had a I saw an announcement somewhere on Facebook that they're gonna have a show on this guy. What's his name? The one with the um, from New York that does the banana thing. I forgot his name. Um, but a painter like my caliber, they haven't had one in a long time. They haven't had one of my caliber in a long time. Everything is so been so prepared so well for them when I'm gone, including my lifestyle. Everything. From everything I've done. It's like everything, it's all been like some type of, I don't know, like I just had to come in. I don't know. Because so way back, I think about it, when you think about those first paintings you've done, that you start out so early, you're like, shit, man, why did this happen so very early, at 7 years old, to start painting and wanting to paint at a very early age? Like, I should have been thinking about other things besides painting, like playing with my cousins and playing with toys, but no, I was born. It's like maybe a part of me just, I don't know, maybe I was just trying to do something that I once did way back before, but this stupid body just doesn't seem to get it right. I just can't seem to get it right. It's like stupid. When the hell are you gonna learn? I mean, you've been doing this for 40 years. You know, I'm 53. Was born in 68. I'll tell you, the first drawing, I was watching my mother comb her hair. Like, I think I mentioned the story before. And she was in front of the mirror in the dresser. And she was sitting on the edge of the bed, full-size bed. And the dresser was like right there. And she was looking at herself in that mirror. And the mirror back then, the mirrors leaned forward a little bit. They had these metal rods in the back, and after a while, the mirror would just come forward. And she was brushing her hair. And I went and grabbed this envelope that was there. And then I went and saw this eyebrow pencil that my mother had, and I grabbed that. And as she's brushing her hair, looking at herself in the mirror, I'm looking at her in the mirror, and I'm with the eyebrow pencil, and I'm drawing her. I noticed right away that with the eyebrow pencil, they're very soft, so you're not able to be too heavy with the eyebrow pencil, because it will go flat. So I had to kind of ease off. And I went and did her hair, her eyes, her nose. And then I saw the foundation that my mother used for her face. And I went and grabbed that. And that became the flesh tones. Then I grabbed the lipstick and made the red for the lips. And I took my finger and put the red of my fingers into her cheeks on an envelope, the age of 7. When she turned around to see what I was doing, she must have noticed that I was doing something. And noticed this little 7-year-old boy drawing. And when she looked at that drawing, her first words out of her mouth was, "You're an artist. You're an artist." That was the first time I ever heard those words. I said, "You're an artist. You can draw." Then from now on, everywhere I would go, I had my little issues. My parents, my father, they would send me to these counselors to speak to, find out what was wrong with me, why I was so closed. And they would come and ask me, oh, you like to draw? You like to draw? We see you like to draw. But no one never took the time to get me classes like they did for Picasso, like they did for Da Vinci. Or me, it was just I had to find my own way. But I kept at it, and even though I didn't have the supplies, I once grabbed some 2x4s and made an A-frame in the bedroom. And it stood there, with no canvas, no art supplies, it stood there. But as I looked to my right, there was an easel, something that looked like an easel, an A-frame. It's like, why? How? And it was when I was the happiest, when I drew, when I painted, and I was. Then when I went to the Metropolitan as a child, in my classroom, and saw Van Gogh for the first time, something definitely happened. Something definitely happened. Something definitely happened. Yes, it did. But then you're in New York, and at that time, rap just came out, breakdancing, and this is, I lived in one of the areas where it was very different. Everything was so colorful back then. People spinning on the floor and walking around with carpets rolled up under their arm. We go to 42nd Street, Times Square. I look very different from all the boys. I was very white, very Sean Penn looking, very white, very streetwise, very smart. And but I hate when I drop things. But how the hell have I lost my lighter? It was just here, right? Wasn't it just here? Oh well, what the hell? If my head was not attached to my body, I would have lost my head a long time ago. Then New York City. This is like the worst. Everybody is about, playing a role. I've never played the role. I've never played their game. I've never I will go to all the city places, New York City's, famous club scenes. They went out to fish, get laid and look for girls. I went and I kept my back up on the wall and just looked at everything from a distance. And I had to kind of ease up on things. I had to feel my way around first. I had to get comfortable with my environment. And then when I felt comfortable, maybe they can get a dance from me. It's so fucking weird. Only then. then there was a time I was searching for Madonna because we heard in the Bronx, Madonna's in town and she's in a limo with Blondie looking for Spanish boys. And that's when the Spanish Lover Bike, that song came out. I said, oh man, I gotta meet Madonna, man. I gotta meet Madonna. Then I heard she met with Jelly Bean from a club, the underground. I was like, I gotta fuck this broad, man. I gotta meet her, man. What's to do? I gotta meet Madonna. I looked at just like her boyfriend. I mean, I was just Puerto Rican. But it was crazy. It was crazy. Then in my area, it was all still Jewish and Italian, and my family were like the first Puerto Ricans in that area. They still had a Jewish synagogue church there, and we were the family. We were kind of better off than other families because we owned the grocery store and the house in the corner, and we happened to own the biggest house in the area. We happened to get the house from a lady that her name was Mrs. Lettleman, and my grandfather used to help her in the grocery store. And for some reason, she told my grandfather, listen, we're leaving to Florida. Paul, would you like to buy the house? I said, me? I don't have no money. I barely can't pay my rent. I said, we'll give you the store and the house, and what you make in the store, you send it to us in Florida. And they helped my father out, my grandfather out, a Jewish lady, two Jewish ladies. And he bought that house for $53,000. Now it's worth $1 million. 1349 Elder Avenue, uh, Bronx, New York, 10472. It's a corner house. It has a front yard, backyard. It has two stores. It's the biggest house in the whole area. And it was in the best location. So, us being Puerto Ricans, but we were okay. These Jewish people just put us on the map. We were Puerto Rican, but we looked very white. We look very white. Matter of fact, I have a picture here. The photo album of the store. Let me see if it's there. No, I don't think it's. I put it over there. Oh, yeah. I put it in the other room. Pictures of the house when we first got it. But anyway, it was still good. And it's, like where I'm staying now, it's a shithole compared to where I used to live. My family still owns the house, but they're fucking me out of my inheritance now. Made a fake will and everything. I just haven't been able to fight these people without no legal fees to fight them. How can I prove to them that this will is fake, a will that was never registered, and a woman that was in her 90s that did the will that had dementia? How can we supposed to believe that this is what she wanted to her two children, to leave them completely out? Which is bullshit, because one of my siblings said no. They went and spoke to the attorney. I saw Mom and Mamita, and she stated that she put you on the will. And now it's something completely different. And then Ruben, she put that Ruben does not qualify because he gets Social Security. What lawyer would tell a person that we're not going to give him his inheritance because he gets Social Security? Social Security. Don't they have a trust fund for that? So I went and did get a lawyer. And he had me all running all over the place trying to find out if the will was registered and this. He didn't do any legwork. I gave him money, and it never went that far because he got what he can get from me, and there's nothing for me to continue to go. You know, fuck. But then as I went through this, I said to myself, as I saw how when my loved ones died, how they came like vultures and for things, I know that material things are not really all that important. Because really everything that we own, we really don't own it. I mean, we have it while we're here, but when we're gone, it belongs to someone else. So really, life is really a big rent-a-cent if you really think about it. I'll die, and someone will come and get this. Someone will get the bike, and someone will get that, and some shit will get sold, and some shit will get thrown out, and that's how life is, you see? So, I realized in the end, I wasn't gonna waste my time fighting these people. There was something else more important that I had to do. And what that is, I don't know. I still don't know what that is, but I raised Anthony. I did the best I can do with him. I made sure to leave all the hiccups out that I went through with my parents, my father, growing up. I made sure to leave all the whippings and punches and all the cursing and to leave all that stuff out. And I left it out. I left it out, and for the first time I was happy. I was saying, well, okay. For the first time I did something right in my life. And then when you lose your wife, you separate. I remember my first words to me, okay, she betrayed me after 25 years, but I could never lose my son. My son would always be my son. But then when I lost my son, and we weren't talking anymore, that didn't even seem right anymore. Because I didn't understand. I said, how could I gotten these results if I've done everything right? What the hell did I do wrong? And it's like, you don't know. You don't know. So you pain and you have these stupid dreams, and maybe you'll create this great painting that will make everything right, and then you even feel selfish about that, because you say to yourself, maybe I'm spending too much time in this thing, developing my art. Maybe I should be spending it honoring God. What is God going to say when I come to the pearly gates? How many hours did you spend painting to develop yourself as a painter? How much time did you spend on me? What am I going to answer? How am I going to respond to that? And why did I even think about that? And why would that even bother me? Why shit like that has to bother me? That's the shit that nags on me. I think I told you about the first time I stole art supplies in an art